Welcome to City on a Hill Kids Church Online.
I'm Ola.
And I'm Jimmy.
Today we're going to be talking about David's hard work.
But that will be after a time of worship.
We are continuing to talk about David. David is described by God in the Bible as a man after mine own heart. We learn about David in the 2 books of Samuel and Chronicles. We first hear about David in 1 Samuel chapter 16. Let's see how David is introduced to us. Now, there was a very important prophet that judged or led Israel in those days. His name was Samuel. He was someone who heard from God. Remember, a prophet is someone who hears from God and tells the people what God says. So he would hear from God, and everything that he would say would come through. This was because Samuel only said what God sent him to say. So the people now said to Samuel that they wanted a king, that they wanted to be like the nations that were around them. So God did allow this to happen, and Samuel anointed a man by the name of Saul as the king of Israel. So Saul was the first king of Israel, but he did something that was so terrible that made God leave him. There was something that he knew he shouldn't do, but he went ahead and did it. And it was because he was afraid of the people, and he took what the people said as something being more important than what God had said. So he feared and respected the people more than he did God. When Samuel got to him, he was so angry with Saul. I mean, how could he have done what he did? And Saul said, "It was the people that made me do it." Well, Samuel was there for a sacrifice, and the sacrifice went ahead so that Saul would save face amongst the people. But Samuel told Saul that he and his family will never be king again. So the kingship was going to be taken away from Saul and his family, and that Saul was never going to see Samuel again. Now that's the backstory. Israel needed a new king, and a new king needed to be anointed. So God spoke to Samuel and asked Samuel to get over his unhappiness with Saul, and that he was going to send him to go and anoint a new king. He asked him to go to Bethlehem to a man by the name of Jesse, and he was going to show him one of Jesse's sons that was going to be king, and that person was the one that was to be anointed. But Samuel was a bit concerned because he told God that if Saul found out what he was going to do, that Saul was going to harm him. But God said that he shouldn't worry, that he should just go along to Bethlehem, and that there should be a sacrifice in Bethlehem. Okay, so Saul took everything that he needed and went to Bethlehem and to Jesse and invited Jesse and his sons for the sacrifice. But before the sacrifice, each of Jesse's sons was supposed to pass before Samuel. So the first son passed before Samuel. He was tall, he was good looking, and Samuel in his heart said, "This must be the person." But God said, "No, it's not him." And he told Samuel that he should be a bit careful because he shouldn't judge people from the outside, and that he, God, doesn't judge people the way human beings judge people, that he looks at the heart. So the second son passed by. He said, "I haven't chosen him either." Then the third son passed by. He said, "I haven't chosen him either." Then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh sons passed by, and none of them were chosen. So Samuel was a bit confused and asked Jesse, "Do you have another son?" And as an afterthought, Jesse said, "Oh yes, there is another son, but he is in the fields looking after the sheep." And Samuel said, "Well, send for him, and we're not going to do anything, no sacrifice, nothing, until he comes and he sees him." So that's what happened. They sent for the son that was in the fields. And when he came, God said to Samuel, "Arise and anoint him, that this is the one I have chosen, for he is a man after mine own heart." So Samuel anointed this person in the presence of his brothers. And from that time on, the Spirit of God was upon him. Do you know the name of Jesse's last son? The person that Samuel anointed. The one that God said, "He is a man after mine own heart." Yes, his name was David. And that's the end of the story.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? Look, here is David, our shepherd, who is also a king. Isn't it cool that God chose a shepherd, one who'd devoted his life to caring for these weak creatures, to then care for the whole country? And it's just like Jesus, isn't it? He is our shepherd who cares for us, but also our king. So let's make one of these, like a little puppet. And first of all, you need a toilet roll tube and a piece of A4 paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the toilet roll tube onto the paper and just measure, okay, where it comes to. And then we're going to roll it round like this and measure again where it would finish wrapping round. So we've got 2 marks and we're just going to join them up into a rectangle. And then like this, and then we cut that out and we know that we've got a piece of paper that will wrap round our tube. And then what I've done is I've coloured it in, and I've done that with stripes. I found that was a nice, quick and easy way to do it. I just put my ruler on and drew stripes across, and these ones green stripes. So we'll stick this on, and this is our shepherd's robe or clothes, whatever he wears. So there we are, get some glue on and get this wrapped around. Good. Now, once he's got his clothes on, next thing we're going to do is make his arms. And for his arms, what you want to do is cut a strip down the short edge of your piece of A4 and try wrapping it around. It'll probably be a little bit too long. Yeah, I think his arms are just slightly too long. So I'm just going to cut a little section off. And then you want to cut out the hands at the end. So you're sort of cutting like a circular shape at each end and just leaving a little bit that would be his sleeve. So cut that out. And then again, we're going to colour it in. So the hands, you want to colour a nice kind of a brown colour, dark or light or whatever you prefer. And then colour in the sleeves the same pattern that you coloured in the robe. And then we're just going to put glue on the middle of the arms, okay? And we'll stick those on just at the middle back. We're not going to stick the arms down yet because we're going to wait till we've got the sheep that he's holding. So here he is taking shape. Next, let's do the head. So for the head, let's lean on this so you can see. You want to draw an oval shape like this. And then all the way around, we're going to do a kind of wavy line like that to be the hair and the beard. Then we can put in the nose and eyes. And then if you want to, you can give him a moustache and of course a big smile, because this is our loving shepherd king. And again, we'll get that cut out and coloured in. And make sure you colour the face the same colour that you coloured the hands. And then the hair can be whatever colour you like, but I think a nice dark brown looks good because that's the colouring of people in that part of the world. And then just put some glue on the bottom edge of the head, not the whole head, just the bottom, and we'll stick that on opposite where you stuck on the arms. Right, so this is going to be our shepherd. And next we need to make his sheep. So to draw a sheep, again, quite a nice simple thing to draw. You want to have the head and some ears, a bit like Mickey Mouse ears, I think looks quite good. And then his woolly body, very similar, very similar to the beard and hair of David. And then because this is a sheep being carried, his legs will kind of stick out up at the front and dangle down at the back. So we'll make his front ones sticking out like that and his back ones just dangling down at the back. So there we have our sheep. And again, you want to cut him out and colour him in, or her. And I've made the legs and the head black and the body white, and I've drawn in with pen the eyes and the nose. So then we'll again put a little bit of glue just on the middle of the sheep. We only need his body stuck on, and we'll position the sheep, and then you can put some glue onto the shepherd's hands, David's hands, and we'll just position those how we want so that he's supporting the sheep. There we are. I've made it look like he's holding that sheep very gently because he's a shepherd who really cares. But, of course, our shepherd is also a king. So the final thing we're going to make is the crown. So again, cut out a strip, whatever width you want the crown to be, probably about halfway down the short edge of your A4 will be plenty. And then what you want to do is bend it round and just hold it and test how big you want it. Now, because the head is a very flat head, isn't it? It's only made of paper. It really doesn't need to be very wide. Look, that's going to slip down too much, so I'm going to make it a bit narrower. Yeah, that's going to be about right. So I'll just cut off so I've got this the right length. And then, again, I'm going to colour it in. So I've chosen yellow to make it look like a golden crown. And then I've put these jewels all the way along it in the same colours as the robe. So on this one, I made them red and blue jewels, and in this one, I've made green jewels. And when you draw the jewels, don't make them a complete circle, make them a little bit jagged, because that looks more like a shiny cut stone, like an emerald, perhaps. So then we'll just put some glue on one end of our crown, and bend that round and stick it together. Okay. And then we need to flatten it off a bit because, as I say, his head isn't really round. Oops! I think I made his crown a little bit big. There we are, let's position it. So there we have David, two Davids, our shepherd, who is also our king, just like King Jesus. So David, the shepherd king of our story, he's here ready for whatever else we're going to learn about in this series. And these are so quick and easy to make. If you had lots of toilet roll tubes, you could make all the characters from the story, and then every week you'd be able to act it out. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Well, I hope you enjoy making these little puppets, and I will be back again next week. I'll see you then. Bye!
I wonder what the actual details were of what King Saul did wrong.
You can find out by reading 1 Samuel. What he did must have really been bad for God to leave him.
I know. Even in the Bible days, good music calmed people down when they're troubled. I think it's the same today. That's why we should listen to the right type of music.
Or better still, be like David and write and play your own music. It was because he was a good musician that he was recommended to King Saul.
Wow, you never know. It could be a hobby that you're good at that opens up doors, the right doors, in fact, for you.
That's true. It's good to take everything that you do seriously. Look at David. From being a really good musician, it was found that he was good in other things too.
He was hardworking too, because he still worked in the family business, and for the king.
God gave him the strength and ability to do all these things. That's it for this week.
Till next time, bye!